But first to the fallout after this Labor loss in the Upper Hunter. Labor backbencher Joel Fitzgibbon indicating this morning if Labor do not listen to him on policy around resources and the regions, he may not run at the next federal election, which would really put his seat, the Hunter, in doubt for Labor with just a 2.9% margin.
I will not be running as an independent. I'll be either running as a Labor candidate or not running at all. I want to run and I plan to run. I'm raising money to run and I'm working like a member who's running. But I have doubt in my mind because I'm not so much concerned about my own electorate. I'm very confident about my own electorate despite the weekend's results. But you know, I'm very keen to ensure that we embrace the people who have deserted us. In North-West Tasmania recently, Labor secured, that's traditional working Labor, a traditional Labor area, we secured 26% of the primary vote.
Almost a blackmail threat from Joel Fitzgibbon. Got to say, people aligned to Anthony Albanese think he's going to retire anyway. But what the Fitzgibbon camp, one of the key decisions they say will influence what he does will be on what Labor does with the government's stage 3 tax cuts and whether it backs aspirational workers. Joel Fitzgibbon also blaming Chris Bowen, his old mate and the party's energy spokesman, for not backing the government's $600 million gas plant they announced last week.
To stop losing the likes of Hunter and Patterson, you've got to get behind that gas plant.
Well, of course we do. It's a gas plant that is capable of being converted to hydrogen when that hydrogen becomes available. It's a gas plant which will put downward pressure on energy prices. It's a gas plant that will keep Tomago aluminium operating.
For Anthony Albanese's part, he's out there saying how much can you read into a state election poll? He says, where were the stories saying the coalition was doomed after swinging victories by Labor in Queensland and WA?
Let me say this, if you want to allocate state results on federal seats, I'd ask you to have a look at Western Australia and have a look at Queensland. Because if you do that, you'll end up with a thumping majority of Labor people in the federal parliament. You'll end up with just about every seat in WA, maybe except for Curtin, they might fall across the line. We'd win every other seat across the state.
As I mentioned earlier, Anthony Albanese also cool on Joel Fitzgibbon's future, despite the fact that if Fitzgibbon departed, the Labor Party would probably be one seat down.
Have you spoken to Joel Fitzgibbon about his comments? I mean, he said the loss for Labor is diabolical.
No.
Are you expecting Joel Fitzgibbon to contest the next election for Labor?
That's a matter for the people of the electorate of Hunter.